Hello, and welcome to Austria and the Red Bull Ring. And we are here today for our qualifying session, and we're going to get straight into it. So let's get our helmet on, get in the car, and we're going to go and look at our data pad here. And as usual, as we have a dry qualifying, we will let everybody else head out onto the track, set their first fastest lap. They will all go out and set 2 fast laps over the course of this first session. We, on the other hand, will only set the 1, and that will be between their 2 sessions, so we get a free clear track. So we're heading out on to what is the shortest track of the year. Looks like Oscar is just up ahead of us, but he will peel off into pits. So all we have to do is make sure that he gets out the way nice and early, which he has done. And we can now head into the final corner and onto the straight, activate the DRS and head across the line to begin our first flying lap of the day. Very tricky first corner, trying to get that one right. That will make or break your lap, basically. You can lose a lot of time there. Followed up again by this hairpin. If we get this wrong, which I kind of did there, you can lose a lot of time on this particular straight as well. Not that it matters too much, because I can brake later than everyone else, and I can make up some of that time through that corner there. And if I am well placed, I can also make up a bit of time through this corner and possibly this corner as well. And we only have the final section to go now, so we're just going to floor it out of the S-bends, quick tap on the brakes, throw it round the right-hander, try to stay on the track, throw it round the final corner, and then boot it all the way down, opening the DRS to the line, and we get a 108.5. Not bad. That will almost certainly get us through to the second part of qualifying. So we're going to head back to the garage now, and this is a sprint race weekend. So I'm not entirely sure how this works. It's quite a new thing, or was for 2002. So I think we're qualifying for our starting position on the sprint race, and our position in the sprint race determines our starting position for the main race. That's how I think it works. So we've made it through qualifying 1 alongside Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. So let's move straight on to qualifying 2, and as usual for the second session we will reuse the tyres from the first session, and once again we'll let everybody go out and set their first of 2 flying laps. And once the top 10 have set a time, we can then casually make our way out onto the track. We don't want to be in too much of a rush. We want to give everyone else a chance to get at least halfway around the track and back to the pits before we start our flying lap. This is a very short track, so that doesn't take very long. So we already have a clear track. So let's try and set a fast time to get us into the top 10, and I will be absolutely throwing around the corners on this lap as we are using used tyres. Pretty much everyone else will always use brand new ones for every session. I believe in saving a set of softs for just in case. So we go out and set our second time, getting us into the top 10 on the old tyres. We save the set we would have used for the race, and we still have a set of new tyres for the final top 10 shootout. So we're just approaching the end of the lap now, a little bit wide on that corner, not doing too well there. we are losing grip by the second. You don't realise it, but the soft tyres do go off quite quickly, especially in these shortened races, and I have absolutely binned it. So the tyres are now completely shot, and we haven't set a time. We are currently in 16th place. So let's try and clean the tyres up, and we're going to have to go for a second attempt at this on very used now soft tyres, but also improved gravel track. So this is now going to be quite the challenge, and I am going to have to be absolutely on the limit. 1:24.7 was that time, but that's to be expected as we did take a slight detour. So as we start our second flying lap now of the session, and hopefully this time round we will be able to keep on the black stuff. We made it through the rather tricky hairpin, and we've got a few relatively easy corners coming up. So nice and early on the brakes for this one. All of the track go out nice and wide, and then we want a quick dab on the brakes, cut as much curb as we can get, even though I missed it all, and that will drive us a little bit wide on the exit. So coming up now to the final part of the lap, and we're just going to quick dab of the brakes, cut the corner as much as we dare, so we didn't dare that much, dare even more on the final corner, and absolutely hurl the car towards the line, and we get a 1:09.2. So not our fastest time of the day, but still fast enough to get us pole position, or at least first place for qualifying 3. So I don't think we'll be going out again. We don't have any tyres that I'm willing to sacrifice. We are at the top of the table, only by half a second though. So we are into the top 10 alongside Charles Leclerc's Ferrari and Sergio Perez's Red Bull. So let's move straight into the third and final part of the qualifying session, and this time round we will be using brand new tyres, and once again, because the weather's nice, we'll let everybody else go out ahead of us, and we will take to a nice empty track. For those keeping track themselves, no, Oscar Piastri has not made it into Q1 or Q2 yet again. So we're out on track now. We're just going to hug this curb as much as possible. We don't have to try too hard. We're on the nice clean tyres. We should make pole position quite easily, as long as we don't head off into the distance somewhere via the gravel pit or gravel tracks. So start of the level, we're just going to run straight over the inside curb there, taking as much of it as you dare, let the car slide right out to the edge of the track, and then floor it all the way down to the first hairpin, which again I missed the apex of, and then floor it once again, opening the DRS along the back straight all the way down, and then into the S-curves section. A couple of nice sweeping curves here, and then quick tap on brakes, take the tight corner, yes, nice and tight there, won't let us run too wide on the way out, and then we just got to hold the track all the way around until we come to the penultimate corner, and then quick tap on the brakes, nice and tight on the line. Oh, that was much better. And then out of the final corner, open the DRS and head for the line. We get a 1:07.9. Not too bad at all. So let's head back to the pits and see if anybody else can top that. We should be able to get a 1:06 something really, but I'll take the 1:07. So it definitely looks like pole position is ours.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Tempest, Russell and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Yes, never mind, tomorrow we'll be back very shortly with the sprint race, which is basically a shootout for 6 laps, and I believe from the weather report it will be wet, so it should be quite entertaining. Join us then. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.